They look like pens, like writing pens.
They
You
do.
can take that if you want.
What do I do?
They send me like
Do I
everything.
uncap
Oh, it's
it?
like a heated,
Yeah.
Like
like a heated tool, so you can just grab it and just heat it, and it drops right in.
Yeah.
This looks like
Yeah.
a pregnancy test. It looks like I'm supposed to pee on it, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay, I'm
Imagine.
scared of it.
That'd suck.
God.
Okay, should we start?
That'd suck if my girlfriend peed on it.
Yeah, no, that would probably ruin it. It's an
That'll
expensive,
change your dab.
Yeah.
expensive.
Oh
pregnancy
man, I'll
test.
be like, whoa, what's this pungency over here?
Oh my god.
Yeah, some different.
Oh my
okay.
God.
Okay. Jesus.
I wonder what terpenes are in that.
You start recording it?
Yeah.
I'm recording.
Oh, nice.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Good. I'm glad we
do
got
it.
that.
Talking about piss terpenes. All right.
Hey, what's
Hello.
up?
Hello.
This is Parking Lot Radio. I'm your host, Sonny Side Up, and this is my co-host, Rachel Bell.
Hey.
And we're here with Lunice, who is a musical artist. I'm not going to call you a DJ or a music producer because I
you're
feel
both.
like you're
You're all
so
three.
much like more beyond that because you got like
Thanks. Man.
you got a whole vision. You're part of Tonight, which has been going for over 10 years now.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Damn.
You do not look old enough to be
I know.
having done something for 10 years.
I know. I get that. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're
But
welcome.
yeah, no. Time
Yeah.
flies.
I was looking through your YouTube and I saw like stuff coming out on Lucky Me from like 12 years ago.
Ooh.
I'm like, damn, like, how did you start with Lucky Me? Were you like one of their first artists on the label?
I think I was one of the first international artists
Okay.
because they started in Scotland, Edinburgh, and Glasgow. So founded by Don Martin Hudmo, and so they were like the core artists that started it. And it used to be a club night before it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
they used
cool.
to call the club night Lucky Me, and they would do it in Glasgow, I believe.
Yeah.
And eventually they decided to start a label, and they got Rusty on board, and
Yeah, you guys got like seriously some of my favorite electronic artists on that label. Like, I don't know how you did it. I look forward to like the yearly calendar, advent calendar thing.
yeah,
Really.
me
always,
too, actually.
Always dope music on that shit. Like, honestly, Lucky Me has some of the best artists.
Where
Love
you
Rusty, love Hudmo.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Montreal, Quebec. Born and raised. Yeah.
For context, Sonny usually knows everything about our guests, and I bring the I'm the replacement for the audience asking questions that they
Yeah,
might not
yeah.
know.
The
You're from
balance.
Quebec, Montreal.
Yeah, French
That's-
Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like growing up there?
Absolutely, man. Like, it's a very interesting place to grow up in because we don't have a specific sound or identity in the sense of like,
Yeah.
yo, this is the Montreal sound. So I was always influenced by, I guess that's probably where you get the feel that I'm more of an artist than just a DJ producer kind of thing. Is
Yeah.
because I was always influenced by all art practices.
Yeah.
And I mean, to put in context, I grew up in the same town with the fashion designer Jown. So Justin Saunders, right?
Yeah.
So he's a close friend of my older sister. They used to go to the same high school I eventually went to,
Wow.
and he introduced me to the I guess the multi-practice of the hip hop culture.
Right.
I was already into hip hop because of my sister.
Yeah.
She was listening to Wu-Tang and all that, Redman and all that. But he introduced me into how to apply all this within the arts.
Yeah.
And he was always forward thinking in that manner. So he created a little hip hop festival in our town called Do It Jam.
Yeah.
And he would get all the OG graffiti writers, DJs, breakdancers.
Kind of like interdisciplinary.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And they
you
were
get
all
together.
here. All the youth would come out.
And that was when you were dancing or you were making music at that time too?
Nah, I only started making music like after high school. By that point, I was breakdancing heavy.
Nice.
But I didn't last that long in the breakdance scene because I just wanted to do different things in the sense of like just being more, just funny. I just wanted to have fun and be
Yeah.
funny. But at that time, it was very militant.
I definitely see. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I definitely see a lot. It's definitely a lot of good content. I really liked when you made that like fake Steve Jobs announcement for 360.
Yo, that was improvised too, straight
That was
up.
good.
We shot 3 things that day. It was that weird Steve Jobs thing, and then what is it? The Doors was filmed the same place, and Maserati.
Maserati.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All that in one day.
Knocking them out.
So, yeah, I really liked that album. So what's the concept behind the 360 album exactly?
So the initial idea, like a lot of times when I start an album concept, it's just coming off of something super mundane. It's just straight up that I'm watching. And at the time I was watching an old interview of Waka Flocka, and he was just saying like, yo, man, this industry ain't shit, man. Yo, shit ain't 360 like that. And I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, you know what? Let me just dwell on that. And I dwell on things a lot. And that's why it's been 10 plus years.
Yeah.
I sort of take too long. Yeah.
I'm more of a fan of like quality than quantity.
Yeah.
I know like a lot of artists these days.
Exactly,
they
likewise.
just throw
I am
out
guilty
music.
of being too impulsive.
Yeah.
I don't think that like adds to longevity. I think it's better to probably sit on things.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, it was pretty much that. I just sat on it for a while, and it grew over time to the point of like, okay, if I'm going to think 360, I'm making music, I'm performing on stage. Because when I started performing, actually, the person who actually brought me into the whole club scene was Jacques Green.
Yeah.
And without him, I wouldn't learn the things I know today. And from there, when I did my first gig, was actually my first club experience. And I didn't know what to do at the time besides just play records. But in between records, I couldn't play the next one yet at the time until like the chorus would come back in.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't know, I'll just go in front of the booth and I'll just dance with my friends in the front. And that started becoming a thing. And the more I started doing it, the more I started thinking like, okay, if I'm trying to be more rounded in the way I'm trying to conceptualize this presentation, I guess, let me start actually contextualizing my movements and actually observing the people, looking at them in the eyes, seeing their reaction. And that made me think about trying to design my stage through like the 5 different human senses, right?
Cool. And
when I started working off of that concept, then I came across some article, I forgot what it was, talking about design and human senses in a way of if you could design something around 2 to 3 out of the 5 senses, you got a pretty solid design.
Yeah.
And I really liked that. And that became my anchor point for whatever I approached when I was designing anything from a stage, sound, products, and whatnot.
Have you ever tried like scent?
That's exactly it. Yeah. So I would start my set with scent before sound.
Cool.
Yeah. So I got I remember when I was a kid. So my mother, she's Filipino, right? And she's big on religion. And I mean, shout out God. And I would always go to church, and I would see the priest coming down with what they call a thurible. Yeah, with the frankincense in it. And I always found that interesting. There's something about it that just like visually,
it's like ritualistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very primal, ritualistic. And so I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go to a vintage place. I found this beautiful silver with like dragons on it, a massive thurible with weight on it. And I decided, you know what? This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna just start the set with a very ambient, vague sound that you don't understand where it's coming from. And I'll start lighting up the incense behind stage in hopes that the people in the club would start smelling it.
Yeah.
And it was working perfectly. So I would start it off and people would be like, whoa, what's that smell? It really reminds me of this. Yeah.
And then everyone's like on the same page coming into it. There's actually, that's actually so interesting to me because there's a bunch of science behind like scent being the sense that most strongly ties to memory.
Absolutely.
Like a scent and then also like brain dependent learning. Like if you study for a test in a certain environment or like experiencing a certain smell, if you smell it right before you take the test, you're more likely to be able to access those memories.
Well, I should have done that in school.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the way I used it in school was, I studied on Adderall, so I better take the test on Adderall. But it applies in more homeopathic senses as well. So that's really cool. That's really
man, because
awesome.
it's very interesting. It goes from that people are, like you said, on the same page. But they don't know where the smell's coming from. Yeah. So I purposely would just stay hidden backstage until I show up with it. Yeah. And then they see the source of it. Then I would have my thurible right next to my booth, which was just a very simple setup, a podium, which was a keyboard stand with a CDJ case on top of it, hidden with the black cloth. And that was it, because I wanted to strip down everything as much as possible, even take out visuals, because a lot of people at that time, I mean, still now, are very dependent on LED screens.
Oh, yeah.
And so I wanted to go back to like theater
was that when
days.
you were wearing like the curtain on your face?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
So I just wanted to use all theatrical, traditional lighting, stage lighting stuff and techniques to see how I can reintroduce that to the digital new world type of thing, right?
We were I was rewatching the interview we did with Flostradamus.
Yeah.
And there was this one moment that cracked me up so much that you're reminding me of. I think he was talking about the first time he played Perry's stage at Lollapalooza. And he said he just had like a table and there was like no
Oh no.
curtain over it or anything, so you could just see his legs through it, and that's just like such a funny. Like you're doing the exact opposite. You're like concealed.
Oh, I'd love to if I could just like
just a
play
folding
my
table.
full set in my head and have like motion sensors and like
Yeah.
a full on chip in my brain. I'd do a set like that.
Hell yeah.
With nothing around, just bare and
Just
like,
like
yo, yo, straight up.
Is your live set Ableton? Or
Yeah, Ableton.
Okay, word.
Yeah.
And you don't produce with Ableton, right?
No, FL Studio.
Word.
Yeah.
So how come you decided to do that? I mean, I know why, obviously, but like, I know why you use Ableton instead of CDJs. But like, how did you get to that point? Like, it was a decision, obviously.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
You know?
it was purely when I did my first gig, I was just using something like Virtual DJ or something like that.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to fit the way I like to present my performance. And again, it's Shaw Green. He was using that before.
I DJ with
Before I
Ableton
was.
also. So
Yep, and he showed me
when I
that.
see your set, I'm like, oh shit. So fucking sick.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
kind of know what's going on. I don't know everything that's going on because you use an M-pad and I use
Yep.
like the APC 40.
Oh yeah.
But so it's a little bit of different. But yeah, I saw like a few of your Boiler Room sets, and I think like your intro, you chopped up like one of the songs from 808s and Heartbreaks. I think it's Say You Will.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh man, that's been a minute. Yep.
No, yeah, it's like 10 years old. I think it was like a Red Bull thing or something.
You're right.
in the
Very,
South by
very
Southwest.
the drama. I love the drama.
But it was very theatrical, and I thought like, how many artists do this? How many artists even like think to do this? It's like
Right.
even like that conversation we just had. No one thinks about
Yeah.
the scent,
Yeah.
how you're gonna walk out,
How I'm gonna walk
how you're gonna
out.
present yourself. Usually it's just some dude like, oh here,
I'm gonna put my USB in. I
Yeah.
mean, I can't blame him. It's really like
No,
the
it's-
structure of the
Yeah.
industry.
It's
in
very
itself.
easy
Yeah.
to use
not question
CDJs
it.
and
Yeah.
and just
Exactly.
not use Ableton. I know because when I have to bring all my shit to a club, it's like it's annoying to set up. It's always annoying.
So once
for the
you're set up,
sound
you're like,
guy.
let's go.
The sound guy's like, I don't know what. I'm like, I don't know either, dude.
To this day,
Just
to this
figure it
day,
out.
I'm still experiencing that.
Yeah.
It's
I
funny,
think-
but I don't blame him.
I think
Okay,
I'm-
it's so much more fun DJing with Ableton, I think, because
Yeah.
you can focus on other things than beat matching.
Yeah. That's
know?
it. Yep.
I think what you said about like it being inspired by church like resonates. I grew up in a really religious household also, and like there's something about just like establishing drama like from the jump. It feels like worship. Like
Yeah.
it's like a
It I don't know. There's something about it that just goes right into the human emotion.
yeah.
And I'm all about that because whenever I'm performing or preparing for a new stage design show, I'm less so thinking about what's gonna make the crowd go wild, and I'm more so thinking about what else can I make the crowd feel.
Yeah, like where can I take you?
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
even if it's anger and confusion, I still love it because that kind of emotion to me at first it used to bum me out, but the more I started thinking about it from a more empathetic place, I started thinking like, wow, this is more of like a point where a person is actually thinking and processing.
Yeah.
And you never get to have that kind of feeling at a show, right?
And then if you
yeah.
can pull them out of like whatever that kind of negative feeling is, it's like almost like you're giving people catharsis. Like you're giving them an opportunity
That's a
to
great
feel
point.
better
Yep, you're
about
right.
something that felt bad. And like a
Yeah.
lot of people don't get to experience that very often. so.
Yeah. I mean, perfect example is when I was direct support in 2017 or something like that for Madonna on her tour, right?
Well,
She initially just wanted me to do one show in Vancouver, and I was like, hey, you know my show's weird, right? And she's like, yeah, I saw it. My kids showed me what you do. It's pretty cool. I want to see it. I'm like, okay, but there's a lot of swear words. And she said, play the fuck you want. I'm like,
she's like, I'm Madonna.
sure enough. Yeah. So I do my whole thing, and obviously I know her crowd is not going to vibe to it, but
Yeah.
I'm like, I always just have
Go
fun. For
hard,
me, it's
yeah.
it's really for how I feel, right? And what I noticed that was very insightful for me was that it's pretty much what you were saying. I made them think, but my genuine passion and happiness on stage
Came through. Yeah.
Like second half of my set, I would look back up because at first when I started, people were like, what is this guy
What's this guy doing?
Bro, they were fucking shitting on me on social, right? But after that,
Yeah.
near the end of my set, I look back up and they're like,
Yeah. Honestly, like,
yeah,
Bopping their heads.
exactly.
yeah, you can't not dance to your set. Like, there's no way like you're not gonna go crazy.
It's so fun. It's like cool to feel like you won people over too.
Yeah, I know that I did not intend to do, but seeing that is pretty beautiful and it's very touching.
I didn't know you were support for Madonna.
I know, man. There's a few things, man. I did I was once a music director for this very experimental project with Cirque du Soleil.
Whoa.
And it was something, I know, it's something I've always wanted to do too.
I didn't find any of that when I was looking you up.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, because I didn't post the video yet. Right. I probably should, because that was like years ago too.
That makes sense, like when you, based on what you just described about your practice, for you to like do instrumentals for circus.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. We won an award for it it was up against the show design of is it the My Chemical Brothers or the Chemical Brothers?
The Chemical Brothers.
The Chemical Brothers, yeah. And we won over them. And
Y'all
I'm like, oh shit.
The Chemical Brothers.
Yo, let's go.
Yeah, that's right.
That was
that's
crazy.
So sick.
Yeah, your live shows. I've never seen a Lunice set, but I've caught a few Tonight sets. Like I was at the Tonight set where I think Kanye came out.
Yo,
I think I have video.
That was super surreal.
Where was
I
that?
was at that set,
Here.
but I didn't even know. I think it was at Williamsburg Hall of Music.
Yeah, that's it. That's
wow.
it.
That one?
I know.
I didn't even know that it
for some
happened until the
reason-
next day.
For some reason, it's hard for me to imagine Kanye West being in Williamsburg.
I know. It was super
is
last
weird.
minute. He just out of the blue. We were sound checking, I think. And actually, we were initially going to have Ryan Leslie open. He was super down to open. I was like, already like, damn, that's crazy. And then he had that case that he had when his laptop got stolen and everything.
Right.
So he still showed up, even though he was bummed out about his laptop. I was like,
That's
man,
nice.
super grateful.
Yeah.
And last minute, the venue manager, stage manager comes in. He's like, yo, no, he actually it was Hudmo. I think he contacted Hudmo and Hudmo was like, hey, Kanye wants to come in. Word? So the venue was tripping out. They were like, all right, we're going to make sure we prepare everything. I still didn't believe it.
Yeah.
And I just remember playing. And then when we played one of his songs, I think it was Third Flu, because he sent us the stems to remix it. So we played our remix of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all I remember seeing is his shaved head. Right. And I was like, damn, I guess it's real then.
That's him.
I did not even notice. I was so like drunk that night.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't
I
notice.
found out the next day on Twitter. It was like, yo, Kanye shows up at Tonight Show. I was like, I was at the show. I don't remember that shit. But
FOMO for a
I
thing
definitely
you
have video.
Crowd reaction was
but that show
delayed.
was very lit.
Yeah. I remember the
sick.
crowd reaction on that.
Yeah.
That was funny because I'm like, I don't know if they noticed. And now like, what? Okay.
like reverberated out.
Yeah.
And also, like, I think you could be mistaken for Kanye.
I know. They say that all the time. In high school, I was mistaken for Tiger Woods because I had a baby face and everything. And then as I grew, they were like, yeah. It must have been weird. Like when I was working with him once, it wasn't for the Yeezus project. The Yeezus one was just the instrumental was sent over and he just did what he had to do with it. But
you talking about?
Yeah. But before that, I was Virgil invited me over to Hawaii for a bunch of sessions just to show my music and then connect with him. I've always wondered, like, looking at him, just being like, I wonder if he thinks, like, yo, and I even met Kim at that point, too. I wonder if she, like... I was so nervous.
You look like the father of my children.
I didn't know what to say when she came through. Like, I'm not starstruck. I wasn't starstruck. I was just, like, stressed out.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to say nothing wrong. I don't want to do nothing stupid. I'm just like...
I like to ask people who, like, they've been most starstruck by in their lives, careers.
For me, it's 100% whoever I've been... a fan of since a teenager. Yeah. It's usually that because I have a lot of emotion attached to it. So one of them that I could top of my head would be the RZA. Cause it was again the Madonna thing. She would invite me again for like this private event. Yeah. It was nuts, dude. There was a lot of people at that private event.
So I was talking Madonna.
Yeah, a whole world tour. So I did that one show. She came out after I finished my set. Her manager asked me to meet her at the green room. And then I went to the green room. She came out of her room. She was like, "Where's Lunice?" And I'm like, damn, I just went and hid in the corner. I was like, nah, no way she said that shit. I'm gonna wait and see.
Madonna said my name.
Yeah. And everybody started looking around. He's like, he's right there. She came up. Oh, I loved it.
You're like great. Behind a potted plant.
Exactly. Exactly. And she was like, you know what? Scrap the other opener. You're coming with me for the rest of the tour. I'm like, damn.
He was like, imagine the other person. It's like, yo, what the fuck?
I felt bad. I was like, shit. Okay, damn. Well, so ever since then, she would like invite me to DJ private events. She even invited me to
a solid connect.
Yeah. And that event there was during Art Basel, and she was selling for charity a bunch of her art and like photos of her, artistic photos and everything.
I hope it wasn't NFTs.
Oh God! imagine? That'd be hilarious. Oh god.
Probably is like right on the cusp of getting into NFTs. Actually, Madonna's probably about.
She's probably planning it right now. Honestly,
she doesn't know.
Yeah, man. So that gallery show, I was DJing it, and Russell Simmons came in, Chris Rock, Chappelle, Diddy, but then RZA came in, and I was just like. RZA. I just said RZA out loud. Bro just looked at me and he continued on. I was like, damn.
Probably like, what the fuck is you thinking?
No, that's crazy though. You already mentioned like listening to Wu-Tang when you were a kid. Like, that's like icon status for sure.
I did not expect that.
I would not know what to say to him either.
I actually like randomly saw a clip of him today on like Instagram, like a random reel. I think he scored Kill Bill.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, he did actually. Yeah.
Did not know that.
And he was talking about how, I don't know.
Like how that process was?
Yeah, it was insane. I mean,
that makes sense though, because he's like really into like Japanese culture, samurai stuff.
You're right. Yeah.
They like became friends because of that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
And then he just asked him one day because he was a huge fan of Wu-Tang Clan. Like
Tarantino, that's so
Tarantino, man, he got stories. Yeah.
Tarantino loves feet and Wu-Tang Clan.
Yep.
So, I want to talk about Tonight a little bit.
Yeah.
When you guys first made that record, what was the goal for that record? Because it was obviously around the time where, I think it was a little before that whole like trap EDM thing blew up.
Yeah, it was.
It was a little before.
Right before.
And it was like, it definitely wasn't the same. I'll say that. It definitely was much like, it was a different approach. It wasn't really like it didn't feel like an EDM record.
Yeah, it's because
I mean, I don't consider you EDM obviously, but like,
right. Well, it's pretty much from where we started. Like our initial approach is the reason why we are the way we are. So like basically me and Hudmo, we've always been influenced by trap music, but more so in the sense of the Southern music, trap music.
Yeah.
Just the expression of it was just very different from the East Coast rap, West Coast rap. It just felt like a new frontier or like wave of hip hop expression.
Yeah. It's like it's a very specific soundscape.
Exactly.
And you can do so much within that soundscape.
Yeah.
And you could space it out.
Exactly.
Make it fast, make it slow.
That's it. And there was a lot for us to really experiment with. And actually that Blunt on the Leaf song, well, the original instrumental is just called Are You Ready? And that's the first song we ever made together.
Oh, wow.
Ever. Like
so sick.
He was in London.
You're like, okay, this is working.
I know. Well, like it was working for us. We didn't know till we showed everybody else, and everybody else was like,
so
yo.
When you first decided to work with him, were you guys like, all right, we'll just collab? Or you're like, no, let's make a whole project?
Oh, just super casual.
Just casual, and then
we thought about it once.
Project.
Yeah, and we didn't do anything about it for like 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Until one day I was on tour, and then I had a couple days off in London. And,
I think it's good that you waited.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
like
again, we said on
perfect
it.
time.
Yeah.
Like honestly, that like you have to wait for them to get to that point where.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's how our first project came to be. So it was really just casual, just sitting in. I just wanted to just see Hudmo, just his process, because I'm such a big fan of his, right? And he was working on a remix for Bjork. I mean, it is Hudmo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he just finished the remix, exports it, bounces it, and then turns around. He's like, hey, you remember we were supposed to try to work on some stuff together? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Now that I'm done with Bjork.
Now that I'm done with Bjork. You want to try this out? I'm like, sure, why not? And let me tell you what, man. So the way I made that song, super simple, no real thoughts about it. I was, what was this? He was just playing some different drum kits. And as he was playing different drum kits, I was just playing the melody of Old Dirty Bastard, Ooh Baby I Like It Raw. Like ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
And I added just a third note to it. And that third note, then Hudmo was like, oh, record that. So it was just a piano, and I just did that, well, the MIDI signal and everything. And then he switched it to the horns.
About the horn? Oh,
yeah, Hudmo switched it to the horns. And then we were like, ooh, okay.
And then it became like that ominous.
Yeah, exactly. And then I started adding the drum patterns to it, and then Hudmo started mixing the drums and adding different kits to it. And that was it. And I believe, or I'm pretty sure Virgil heard it. And I don't know how he did it, man. Like
I was curious, how did it become Blood on the Leaves?
It's all Virgil. He was so interconnected with the world. I don't know. He was the internet, he showed that to Ye, and Ye was just like, yo, I need that for the fashion show. So he used it for his first ever fashion show.
Wow.
Yeah, I just remember being on tour with Rocky Fresh, right? And it was my first moment ever being surrounded by rappers, and they see that and they're like, yo, you killed that shit. I'm like, oh, damn, the rappers are fucking with me. This is changing.
Oh, cred.
How do you... So you worked with like a bunch of rappers, obviously. You worked with Denzel Curry.
Yeah.
A bunch of dope people. How do you approach working with an artist as opposed to making your own music?
I try to keep it as casual as I do when I work with Hudmo too. I don't really have any like set goals or objectives to it, mainly because I mean everybody's dealing with different things at the same time, so it's very hard to like intentionally schedule things with a rapper or vocalist.
Right.
So I generally try to approach it from a place of, oh, we just so happen to be at the same place, same time, with the right amount of time and space between each other to do something.
Right.
And then I get into it fully.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how I've approached most of my features. Like
I think it's always better to be in the room for sure.
Yeah, that for sure. Being in the room and different scenes. But then the more I got into the rap scene, the more I realized, like, man, I'm honestly just a little hipster black dude. Like, I'm not, I do not match that scene at all. First of all, I'm French Canadian, and that already is like.
Are there any French Canadian rappers?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I
mean, like that I would have heard of.
Oh,
not in the world. I'm sure there are.
Well, right now. Well,
Drake's
right
not
now.
French Canadian.
Only more recently. A lot of the younger Gen Z artists that are blowing up, and they're killing it right now.
I want to hear somebody rap in Quebecois.
Oh, in Quebec. Oh, that we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, we got like a cult one. He's like the little B of Quebec. His name is Roi Enoch, King Enoch.
Okay.
He's so funny, but I don't know what he's doing now, but like he was definitely the little B of Quebec at that time.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, I have a funny question. So randomly, like 6 months ago, I was watching the Azealia Banks 2-on-2 video.
Okay,
And
I
saw
also
you
did
and Jack,
that recently.
Yeah.
Jack Green in it. Is that how you say his name, Jack?
Yeah. Jack or Jacques. Well, it's because it's French.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you guys in it. I was like, what the fuck's he doing in that video? So
I know.
Was that just like a fun thing, or were you involved in the production of that song?
Nah, we were. She was just in Montreal. And
You were just hanging out?
Yeah, we
Oh,
were
Oh,
just
it's filmed
hanging.
in Montreal.
Yeah.
Damn.
yeah.
Okay. And
Crazy.
did Danny produce that? He's in it too. You guys are like the three people who aren't.
Oh yeah, well, we didn't produce it. We were just there because we were just hanging out, eating chicken and waffles, and we were just chilling, smoking weed. And then she was like, "Hey, you want to be part of this video?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Sure, I'm not doing anything today." What about you, Jacques? And he's like, "Nah, I ain't doing anything today either." All right, cool, let's go.
That's so funny.
Kind of iconic. And like,
Yeah.
I know, we did not
super
expect
when I
that.
saw it 10 years ago, I obviously didn't know. I mean, like, I probably knew Lunice, but I didn't know, like, I didn't put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And then I watched it and I was like, huh. Why is he there?
I like watched. I showed the video to someone recently who hadn't seen it, and it's so
It's a dope
powerful.
video.
It's like time travels me back to the first time I heard it. Like I'm like 10 years ago, all of a sudden, out of nowhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's fascinating, man.
Yeah.
It's so funny you even say Jacques' name in like a Quebecois way.
Yeah, because it's spelled that way. So I never knew how to pronounce it.
Yeah, but he's got like the French
also,
Canadian.
How do you pronounce your name?
Oh, just Lunice.
Lunice. Oh, okay,
But in
'cause
French, it's Lunice.
You said it. You said Lunice. Madonna said Lunice.
Yeah,
so
she said it in French. She fancy.
we had these French exchange students when I was in high school, and I was really into justice, which
dude.
was French, and I was like,
Justice, man.
"Tu connais justice?" And they were like, "Oui, ouais, justice."
I've never said it in French. Like
It's
I've
so
always said
cute
justice.
in French. Justice.
Yo, it's so true. Yeah, their shit was so hard. Man.
Yeah, that was
Holy.
big for me in high school.
Yeah, same.
I also like when I was going through your YouTube, I really like your approach to music videos. Like I'm a fan of simple, especially when it comes to music videos, because like music videos, you don't really need to tell a story.
Yeah.
You just
music
need
does.
you just need visuals that match the feeling of the song. It's like
That's it.
B-roll,
That's it.
basically.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I think of how like
Yeah.
a good music video doesn't make you think too much. It just makes you feel what the song.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a short film.
Exactly.
That's like for art class or something. Like,
Exactly. And I
yeah.
think the way that you have your music videos when you're dancing in it, especially the 360 ones.
Yeah.
But I think the first one I saw was Can't Wait. 2.
Oh yeah.
That was the first one I saw. I was like, wow, this video is fucking sick.
That was fun. Yeah, we filmed that one in London in a church.
Yeah, the shot where the camera is upside down.
Upside down, super simple. Just flip it and just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Visually interesting.
Yeah.
You can really like, if you just have like a small vision, I really like what you did with those. Like, I think you have like maybe 4 or 5 of those kind of videos where it's just you dancing, and there's the one Get Right. Oof,
yo,
that shit goes so
I filmed
hard.
that one in my bathroom.
Yeah. Did you do the effects too?
No. So the person who did the effects, he's also part of the label. He does a lot of the art direction too and everything.
Does he do the Tonight stuff?
Not Tonight stuff, but he does a lot of the individual artists on the label. His name is Cameron Morse. He's also from Montreal.
When you say the label, you mean Lucky Me?
Lucky Me, yes. Sorry.
So are you like an owner of the label also, or
no.
like?
No, it almost feels like it for how long.
You're just like an OG.
yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool. I think, like I said before, they really have some of the most like, forward-thinking artists in like electronic. I really
agree.
fuck with that.
Me
really
too. They all inspire me.
That's great.
Well, you know what? It's because we've always approached it as a collective first because we're all art students at heart. And well, not at heart, we literally were art students. And so we all have like a take or certain amount of knowledge when it comes to artistic design and execution, how to put it together and how to collaborate to make sure we can get to a certain goal, that kind of stuff. So it really, I'm glad you noticed that part of it, that it does translate once we put things out.
That's why I liked what you said about Montreal, because like if you think about it, I can think of a lot of artists or influential creators from Montreal, but it doesn't really ever feel like there's a scene, like one strong thing it's not like Atlanta where it's like hip hop capital. I mean, like
absolutely
in the 50s it was like poetry and writing at like McGill, I guess, but like since then I can't think of a time that I've been like, oh, Montreal's where you go for this.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that like you and your peers influenced by all those different things.
It's always like that. When we were doing our own club nights, it was a mix of everything. We'd book everybody we loved, and
that's great. That's fun.
It is. It's very open and intuitive, and
it's like a salon in the olden days.
Yeah.
Just come here and get your mind expanded via whatever medium.
Yeah, man.
I really like your new song. Is that Compensate? Is that your newest song you put out?
Yeah.
That shit is a banger, man.
Thanks,
the drums are like super fucking crunchy.
Yo, it's crazy. Yeah, so I'm working on my next album, and I've noticed the way I mix things are different. That the label would hit me back and be like, how did you do this? And I'm like, honestly, best thing I could say is that I grew up.
Yeah.
I don't know how to technically explain how I'm doing this now, but it's just over time. I don't know. Just my taste and sound.
Did you used to have other people mix your stuff, or you always?
Yeah, just me. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Always?
No, sorry. In the beginnings, I had I've worked with a couple people to mix it, but then it just gradually became me. And
after a while, you just got a feel for it. And,
just got a feel for it.
I was listening to, weird reference, but I was listening today the original recordings of House of Balloons, The Weeknd's first album, and I was listening to that probably like a decade ago, and I didn't realize that the ones on Trilogy were like remixed and mastered and stuff. Yeah, and so if you go listen to the old one on Spotify, it says original, and it was crazy to listen to them because like I don't think I know enough about music production to notice a difference.
Right.
But it is so different. Like once he got older and had access to more like higher level production.
Yeah. There's definitely a different feeling to it for sure. Yeah. And I missed. Yeah, that trilogy was great.
Yeah, I really liked it when it came out for sure.
Oh yeah. Big shout out to Zodiac. He's the one that was the main producer at the time, and that gave him that sound. Yeah. Ever since then, it's been different. But hey, I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, he got a little like. I feel like once you start getting put on like feature film soundtracks, your vibe changes.
Yeah, exactly. Once you find the right angle to expand your brand and yada yada, like fair enough.
So you're working on a new album now? What's that process for you? Do you like make a spreadsheet? How do you approach making an album like?
Pretty similar to how I started the first one. I first start with a word that sticks with me, and this one was another one. It's so funny how I end up thinking about it. I was just watching Yeezus and Mero.
another interview format.
A cool thing about electronic music is that like there's no lyrics. Like it's not so like lyric focused, so you can call it whatever you want, and then you just run that concept.
That's it. More conceptual. Yeah,
exactly. And like in the end of their show with the guests, they always ask the guests like, so what do you want your bodega sign to say when it's lit up? And everybody always had some kind of like heartfelt message. It's very cool. But nobody was just saying open. Oh, I just wanted to say open.
Yeah.
And I was like, I would do that if I was on that show. And I was like,
what do you mean by open?
Just open.
Like the sign just says open.
The sign just says open. And I was like, open. Oh, I like it. And I started Googling about it to see like what other artists has used just that word alone. And I noticed a lot of artists would create a narrative around it. So it would be open door, open road. So it's very like, it narrows down the listener into a path, a very predetermined path. But just open in itself.
It's fun. They're like, closing it.
Yeah.
Open is not open when you add like a word after.
You're right. You're right. I'd say it literally closes.
So is that the name of your next project? Open?
Yeah. Cool. And it pretty much derives from my more recent production process, mainly learned from how I worked with Hudmo for Tonight, because a lot of what we do is there's absolutely no thoughts to it. We just hit sounds. And it's weird because if you were in the room with us, we're mostly just grunting.
It wouldn't be fun.
Yeah, there's not like talking.
No, we're just going, record.
That's funny. I remember at that Tonight show before Chimes came out. I remember the dog bark. Woo. I remember like you and Hudmo both doing it.
You guys were doing it or sampling?
Like, I did that one. Yeah.
Were you making it with your mouth? Okay.
Oh yeah.
But then
like
I heard the song because I have like video footage of it from my phone, and then I heard the song 2 years later, and I remembered the dog the dog bark.
Yeah.
And then I heard that shit in like an Apple iTunes commercial or something. I was like, damn, I remember that song before.
Yeah.
And also when you guys played, he played like this version of Mercy. That he had, and then he ended up releasing that instrumental because I have a video of it happening. He ended up releasing the instrumental over COVID when he released like a bunch of music.
Yeah.
And it was crazy just seeing it there nuts. And then there without the vocal was really cool.
Somebody should make a playlist of songs that feature dogs barking, because I feel like there's like a pretty banging like.
Honestly, it felt so hype for the crowd. Like you're just like ooh.
Yeah. I remember I used to play "She Wants to Move" by Nerd at home, and my dog would freak out because it starts out with the dog barking. Yeah, he always responded to it.
Another of our Tonight songs, "Serpent." That one has a dog, an actual dog barking. His neighbor's dog was barking at us because the music was so loud, and I barked back at it, and it was such a funny clip. We kept it in there.
That's so funny.
You can sort of hear like a, and I'm like, and I'm laughing.
I love that. It gives so much like personality. Like there was, I think one album ago, Lana Del Rey's second most recent album, you can hear her rip a jewel on one of the songs.
It's like the crackling.
Yeah, you can hear the like.
Amazing.
It's so she's like about to sing and she had to breathe in some Nick first.
That's like the pop equivalent of Lil Wayne smoking a joint before laying a verse.
It's like a whiz like bong bubbling real quick.
Yo, that's so crazy.
So yeah, so the second. So you guys put out a song on Tonight recently too, right?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Is it Brick Figures?
Yeah.
No, yeah, right?
Brick Figures.
Yeah.
I really liked the second album was, even though it's obviously going to be different, it's like 10 years later. The second album was really fucking dope. Like insane. Obviously not I don't think what anyone expected.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like the complete
either.
opposite of what anyone expected. But I thought it was dope. The visuals are really dope. Just everything.
Yeah,
and that's wild. When you guys put out a Tonight album, you have worked on all of those songs in the same room together?
Yeah, we like to work together in the same room.
Does he live in London?
No, in LA now.
Oh, okay, so nice. Yeah, that's where you
so
are.
I'll go to LA, just stay there for a week or two. And
where do you
work on
wait? Where do you live?
I'm still in Montreal.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
hometown hero.
Yeah, cost of living so cheap. Come on.
Yeah. No, I've been trying to go up there.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I grew up in New York, and even though it's like expensive or whatever, I just don't want to live anywhere else.
Well, listen, you both came from cool places. It's like if you were born in Indianapolis, Indiana, I don't think you'd be saying,
I think,
I'm really gonna stay here.
Yeah, like I think I'll just stay, guys.
Oh,
I'm not going anywhere.
That hits different. Yep.
Although I do actually have a friend from high school who likes what you said earlier. He started a hip hop festival for the Midwest.
Oh, damn.
And I always like. feel a little ashamed or like, but also respectful when I look at what he's doing, because I'm like, I just got out as quick as I could.
Yeah.
And he's like 32 or something, trying to make it cool. Like he stayed.
Nice. Yeah. Well, there's definitely some people who have this emotional and almost spiritual attachment.
Yeah.
And they become the OGs that really brought up the next generation to be inspired to do new things. And next thing you know, they're starting a whole new sound out there. You never know.
Yeah. Montreal is honestly a beautiful city. I went there for Oshiaga in 2012.
Oh yeah.
And you know that group Birdie Nam Nam?
No, I don't think so.
They're like they had, do you know that song Wild for the Night with like Skrillex and A$AP Rocky?
Oh, that's them.
So the original sample came from one of their songs. And then Skrillex made 2 remixes, and then A$AP heard it, and then A$AP was like, let's make another version for me.
What are they called?
It's called like Wild for the Night.
What are they called? Thank you for singing it though also.
Birdie Nam Nam.
Birdie Nam Nam. Nam Nam.
I don't know where I think they're from, like Europe. I don't know where they're from. But they played there. It was interesting. They had they're literally 4 guys, and like 2 of them have 2 turntables, and then 2 of them have like synth and drum machines. And
sick.
It was a weird, and this is 2012 too.
That reminds me of like Keys and Crates vibes.
Yeah. It was weird. It was cool though, and it was a really beautiful city. Summertime, loved it.
Should we go? It's like a 5-hour drive.
I want to go. Yeah, I mean it's really cold now.
You want to do a Montreal ep of the pod?
Yeah. We hid weed by the border, and went in, and then on the way back we got the weed. Literally at like a truck stop, where you just like dug a hole behind it.
Yo, that's literally what Alchemist does.
Yeah.
Too. Like, oh man, when I was doing that project with him, we did
You did a Red Bull thing?
Yeah, exactly. We did a whole record together, and yo, he's got all the tricks, man. Like, he was starting to dig a hole to like stash a bunch of weed he got, because he's gonna be like, I'm back in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, actually, that's a great idea.
I remember people, when I lived in Chicago, people used to go to the park where like Lala or North Coast was happening before and bury nitrous tanks.
Jesus.
Oh, dang.
And then during the festival, sell balloons for $5.
Wow.
Yo, I think
that's industrious.
That is wild.
That is a level of entrepreneurial thinking that I cannot relate to.
I've seen some memes where a kid is like, yo, and it's like a dirty, huge Smirnoff vodka thing. He's like, yo, I pulled this shit out. I buried this shit last week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, they're probably rich now with all their investments and shit.
Is it? True. Yeah, they have brains that are not like mine.
They're long-term thinking, I think.
Is it when you travel, you have to get like artist visas, or do you get to go for like a short time? Because I did
work visas, like
for like when you have to go do tours and stuff.
Mainly for the States. Europe is super chill about it, except UK, you also need a work visa for
I just heard there's a new thing happening for Canadian artists.
What is it?
Where like the thing to get a visa went up by like 250% or something.
The cost of it?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's
work visa for where?
The US
in the
probably.
States?
I think for US, like US is charging them like much more to come in now or something.
Damn, they're really decoupling, huh?
Canadian artists, yeah.
Break up.
I might have to move here, bro. No, I'm kidding.
I remember I like went and did I'm a writer. I did a reading in Toronto once, and my friends there, I had to get like a letter saying like where I was staying, and the Facebook event, this is back in the day, had to be private because I had to say at the border that I wasn't like going for work or whatever. Not like I was making fucking big money or anything. What were they going to do? Tax the $40 I made selling books? Like, come on.
Yeah, they'll still get you for that. It's crazy.
Would you say you play mostly shows in like North America, or mostly like around like the world?
Just globally. I when I first started doing club nights, I specifically made a rule for myself that I'm only gonna do the club nights that Jacques Green got me in, right?
Because his music is on some different stuff, so
and the scene and everything. So I'm only gonna do that. I'm not gonna do like other venues that have nothing to do with me and the whole crew. That way I don't become a local DJ or artist. And so I focused on just doing my thing with that specific night until I started doing more shows in London. And then London became more of a thing. Well, I started a lot of the beginnings. I had to like like you're saying, sort of keep it on the down low and just get through. And like once I'm through, I'm like, let's make this money. And a lot of my beginnings were built in London. It was pretty amazing. Yeah,
it's pretty
very
sick.
very inspiring. And
I feel like when you're around a group of artists like that, and you're all kind of have like, you're all not making the same music, but like the same like vision kind of, you know?
Yeah.
Like, which is basically just like an alternative to the like traditional like dance music.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I wouldn't even consider it dance music. Like a lot of it is just like trippy, like just cool
it's
shit.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's dope.
Genre bending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's somewhere that you've gotten to go to play that like was really exciting to you? Somewhere you never thought you would go?
I mean, Tasmania.
What?
Yeah.
Fuck.
I know.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm pretty good at geography. I do not think I could point out.
I think that's in Australia, right?
Yeah, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, right in the middle. Like a little island in Tasmania.
It's an island?
Yeah.
Wait, I knew that. I watched a nature documentary. I watched a nature documentary about the devils, Tasmanian devils.
Yeah.
Those things are scary.
Dude, it took me a while to realize until I was there, and I was like, Tasmania. Oh, right.
Yeah. Holy shit. What? How?
I was playing in Hobart, and I just couldn't believe it. It's called Hobart. Hobart, yeah. Yo, it's a beautiful seaside town, and I just couldn't believe it. Somehow I got weed there. I don't remember how I even got it, and I just remember walking around the town and smoking and being like,
where the fuck am I?
This is so cool. And I'm like, man,
By the way, you could buy weed now in the stores in like Brooklyn and shit, like all over New York. They're just literally like everywhere you can buy
I
weed.
used to stress out smoking weed out here, man.
Really?
In the U.S.?
No, well, in New York.
Yeah.
At the time, because I remember they used to say there used to be a cannabis task force that was just going out and about, just like
now there's an office of cannabis management because it's legal, so it's the opposite.
Do you want to hear? I have a funny story about getting arrested for weed. I was outside. It was the day that Steve Jobs died.
What the fuck?
So it happened like.
What a way to
let's say
specific.
So basically, like, so I'll explain the situation. Why I remember that so much. So I was walking into a Dead Mouse concert, and
Steve Jobs
when you went to see Dead Mouse.
I was taking joints and I was putting them literally like I had like a little tube. A bunch of joints in it, and I was putting it in my underwear. And a cop saw me. He's like, "Hey, what was that?"
Oh, they saw you do that.
Yeah, they saw me doing it. They're like, "Hey, what was that?" I was like, "Oh, nothing."
Cop was like, "Take your pants off."
I was like, "Here." I wasn't gonna. I was like, "Here."
You just said, "Here's some joints."
They're like, "Okay, we're gonna have to take you in." Like, I thought it was decriminalized. They're like, "Don't worry, don't worry about it." I'm like, "All right." Whatever.
I thought it was decriminalized. Don't worry, you're coming downtown.
They're like, we just have to put. I was like, "All right, whatever." So I went to jail, and there's people in jail who were high on Molly. Because they were doing Molly outside.
Nightmare.
And they got arrested.
Nightmare.
And then all these kids are tripping out. And I was like, yo, guys, because they were in jail. So they didn't know about Steve Jobs.
Sonny.
Oh, my God.
I was like, yo, guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but Steve Jobs is dead. This guy was high on Molly. Like twitching out. He didn't know how to feel.
Like, I gotta tell them this news.
You gotta tell.
But I ended up, and so the cops, they're like, we can't put you in the van because it's like down the block. So we're just gonna. So they walked me with my hands behind my back, and then I was in there for like 2 hours, and then I got out and I went back to the concert. And I spoke to my friends.
R.I.P. Steve.
I got to see Dead Mouse. I didn't miss any of it.
Oh
no way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All I lost was like my shoelaces. They took my shoelaces. I didn't get them back.
They didn't give them back?
Wait, what? Because of the jail part?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I guess they think you're gonna like hang yourself or something.
Yeah.
Too high on Molly to do that.
I just had to run back. I was like, yeah, I gotta make this shit.
It's so funny how like I remember where I was when I found out certain famous people died. I was at Dave and Buster's when I found out about Michael Jackson.
I was on the subway actually.
Yeah.
And I was with I wasn't.
Wait, Michael Jackson?
With Michael Jackson.
It's so funny that you remember. Too.
I saw this girl that I know.
It's like our JFK.
No, it's because I randomly saw a girl that I knew on the train, and we were talking, and then we both were like looking at our phones, and we're like, "Oh shit, Michael Jackson is dead."
Damn.
I wouldn't have remembered if I wasn't with her at that time.
I was probably just playing Counter-Strike or something.
Yeah.
Oh, Counter-Strike.
I was probably
into gaming.
Yeah.
What do you play?
Mainly RPGs.
Like which ones?
Oh, I've always been a fan of Final Fantasy. Since high school, elementary even.
Yeah. How'd you even hear about that shit in elementary school? I feel like you got to be like a deep like gamer.
Oh yeah, Super Nintendo and everything. Yeah. I was playing Chrono Trigger and all that in Super Nintendo. Even Super Mario RPG, dude. I wish they made it again, but
what console do you have? are you a
I just recently
computer
got the
gamer?
PS5.
Yo.
It took 2 years to
I
finally.
really got one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have that Switch. I still have the PS4. But I have a lot of games on PC.
Hell yeah.
I have my Oculus. I have.
Oh, I want one of those.
I have one.
Yeah, they're great, man.
When I come over on Tuesday,
I got.
I'm gonna watch VR porn at you.
Dude, the zombie games on that stuff, man.
Oh no, I could not.
It fucks with your fascia. I swear.
I like the the Beat game, Beat Saber.
Yeah, Beat Saber. Yep.
So I
you
put on
have
the
that?
Skrillex pack, smoke a little dab before, and I'm just.
Yo.
Yo, why
The
don't you
boxing
have? You
one
should
is
get a
really
Beat
fun.
Saber pack.
Yeah. Oh shit.
You should send
That's
an
a great
email
idea.
about that.
Yeah, that would be a good. Honestly, that would be a good. That would be a fun Beat
Yeah.
Saber pack.
Oh, I love anything like that. I mean, during COVID too, Umru invited me and Hudmo to play as tonight
Minecraft.
for the Minecraft festival, and that was one of the most fun I've had.
I saw him
a
on
very long
Saturday
time.
night
Nice.
Yeah.
a week ago. He
Yeah.
did this show with my friend. Do you know this girlfriend of the year?
No.
GFOTY.
Oh,
Shoot.
yes.
Yeah.
Of
Like
course.
PC
We were
music
supposed to
is
interview
adjacent.
her.
Oh, that's what it stands
last
for.
week.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You were
that's
just
great.
saying like gafoti.
Literally, that's how I
Yeah.
was saying
Girlfriend
it
of the
straight
year.
up.
So
I thought it was like get the fuck out. Why?
Yeah. You just like weren't paying attention to the order.
yeah,
Same.
but it was like this cool, like it was like a musical, like a 3D arts musical with this guy Sam and Andy Raffles, these two brothers that make like 3D shit.
Yeah.
Yep, Sam. Yep.
You know them?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
worked on a lot of the Tonight stuff.
Yeah.
Visuals. Yeah.
And they were the live show was just insane. There was one part of the live show where there was two girls, they were wearing like the motion capture suits and they were boxing, like actually fighting.
Like
And
legit.
then there was a screen behind them and it looked like a fucking video game.
It's so sick.
Man.
And then there's like Umru DJing or some shit.
Wow.
It was insane. Yeah.
I feel like Sam and Andy are always trying to do like cool stuff too. Like I don't know
Yeah.
about Sam, but Andy lived in Chicago at the same time as me. I don't think he would remember me, but we met a few times, and I went to a like show he did once where he was doing visuals, and there was a number. And you could text pictures to it, and he would mix it into the live visuals.
That's
So,
cool.
you know, I was like 23, so I was just sending mad selfies
wild.
and taking.
Mad selfies.
And then I would like the DJ's playing, and then a picture of me would pop up in the background. I was taking videos, and I was like, "Wow, the guy doing visuals is obsessed with me." Ridiculous.
That's yeah, man. I would be 23. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Nothing
I was
better
definitely
to
that
do.
kind of vibe too,
Yeah.
man.
I'm stoked to see your set tonight. Who are you playing with tonight?
Oh yeah.
What's their names? Actually, I wasn't familiar. I'm the worst person when it comes to like knowing
don't
different
remember
artists.
shit.
Everybody talks to me about a different artist. I'm like, who? What?
And
Like,
you're-
aren't you part of the scene?
so
I'm
you're
like,
going on-
not much.
1/3. Yeah, you're kind of like
I'm like mainly
disconnected.
gaming or some other random shit, but mainly fishing. Like that's
Yeah.
like I'm mostly doing that most of the time when
You're
it's good weather. Yeah.
Fisherman?
Yeah, huge fisherman. Yeah,
Okay, you just dropped that so casually, and it's such a cool fact. But you're like, yeah, I'm just fishing sometimes. No big deal. Wait, where do you fish?
Yeah, how did you
Oh,
get started
dude, Montreal
fishing, man?
is the river we got is world renowned.
What's it
A lot of
called
people,
again?
the St. Lawrence River.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Is that
have
where
all the
you have to
species,
go
all the
to get-
freshwater species. in there.
Whoa.
It's
the
wild. I don't have to go
Oceaga
far.
place?
Yeah, I could go there. I live close to where that island is too, and I got this amazing inflatable boat. It's called a caboat. It's like it's really interesting. It's like it has the length of a usual like how do you call that?
Like
a
a-
Zodiac kind of boat, I think what it's
like
called.
A
Like those
rowboat?
rescue boats.
Oh yeah.
But it's narrow like a canoe a bit.
Cool.
So you can fit like 3 full-grown adults comfortably. We all can stand. It's very, very, very sturdy, and it folds up and it fits the trunk of my car, just like
That's
a normal
so
4-door car.
sick.
And I would go out to one of the rivers and we fish out there. But before that, I would just fish in the Canal Lachine. Everything's in the Canal Lachine. People will ask me, "What do you catch there?" Oh well, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, pike, muskie.
And
Everything.
do you have to go
Walleye.
on the boat for that also?
Now you just go by the
Right.
canal.
I know
And you
these
just go up
fish
and down it.
from
You can get a
video
bike or
games.
anything. From video games?
Yeah, that's the
No
only
way.
reason I know.
I
I'm
love
like,
the video
I think you
games.
can catch some of those in Red Dead Redemption, or like I don't know.
Yeah,
Damn,
it's true.
that's crazy. I feel bad because I think that's so interesting, but I don't even know enough about fishing to like ask you a good question about like,
Oh,
what's the biggest fish you ever caught?
75
You ever
pounder.
seen an eel?
Actually, we do have those too.
Are Canadian fish different?
But those are rarely caught.
I'm afraid of eels. Those are some
They're wild,
weird
dude. They'd be like-
creatures. Ugh.
Yo, I can't. They're very unpredictable.
Wait,
Yeah.
so what was it like doing the Tonight set in Minecraft? Like, how does that?
Oh yeah, I want to know about that.
Were you
too.
with Hudmo?
Yeah.
So you guys?
Oh
were
no, we
together?
weren't in the same room. Sorry,
You
But
weren't?
We were both online, just
Right.
going there.
Whoa.
But it was fun, man. I mean,
So how do you DJ together?
so
remotely?
that was all just a pre-recorded set.
okay,
So
got
everybody pre-records a set. They upload it into the way they had it set up was very, very, very smart. It was everybody's pre-recorded, and people can go to the website to stream the live audio.
So you
So you play the live audio as you're in game. So the server doesn't get too clogged
Yeah,
up with all the
matches
people
up.
coming in and
Yeah.
everything. And every time, I mean, like from gaming, when you're gaming, you want to exploit the mechanics as much as you can. So what they gave every artist was a special wristband, right? Item that teleports you to the stage, so nobody else can go to the stage.
Wow.
And I figured, like, knowing the general mechanics of Minecraft, I can see. Well, the stage was built into the volcano,
Yeah.
and so there's some lava falling in the side. I'm like, right, okay, I got a teleporter, and it brings me to the stage. And what happens if I just keep jumping into the crowd and hitting teleport and coming back? 'Cause this is gonna create like a wild loop. And then I started doing it to see if people would notice, and then people in the chat would be like, "Yo, what is Lou doing? Yo, it's crazy." It's like moshing like a motherfucker. And then
That's
I was
so
like, wait,
sick.
no, look, if I touch the lava, wouldn't I catch fire? So if I do that and I teleport and I jump, wouldn't that look even crazier? So I
Right.
started doing that during our set. And then everybody started noticing me hitting the lava and jumping back into the stage. And they're like, yo, let's hit the lava. And you can see the whole crowd just hit the lava. And everybody's on fire and jumping around on fire.
That's so sick.
That was so fun.
Yeah,
like-
I've always been curious about how like that works. People playing Minecraft. That's
Yeah.
wild.
I mean, I'm sure it's possible, but it's with the amount of people attending is probably what made it more complicated.
Yeah, and
'Cause,
they've
yeah.
had like, I don't know, what was the really big one that was the first one? Was it Travis Scott? No, that was
that was
the other one,
no.
Fortnite.
Fortnite.
I think
yeah.
these guys have been
Bro,
doing it way
I used
before
to play.
that.
Yeah.
I played Fortnite when it first came out, and
Yeah.
it used to be a zombie game.
What did you play it
Yeah.
on? Switch?
Just PC.
Okay.
Yeah. It used to be
remember
just a zombie game. You had to
playing
build your own fort in time before the zombie wave came through. And then when they switched it to like a shooter, and I was like, nah, I just moved on.
I've only ever played it on Switch, and like they don't have crossplay between platforms, I don't think. And
They do now.
Oh,
do,
back
right?
when I played,
Everyone now.
back when I played,
makes
they
sense.
did not. And
Yeah.
I have played COD, so like Switch Fortnite lobbies were like children, and I was like getting victory royale every game, and then like upsetting children. So it didn't have a lot of appeal for me. I was like, "Where's the
Making these
scope
kids
on this thing?"
All right. Well, Lunice.
Oh my God.
It's been
man.
great talking to you.
Oh yeah, always, man. We should
wanna
hang, man.
thank you.
Next time
Yeah.
back.
Good luck at your show
Yeah,
tonight.
I want to thank you for
Yeah.
coming through, taking the time to talk to us.
Absolutely.
Definitely gonna come check out the show tonight. I'm very stoked.
Merci.
Yes. Merci. That was great.
Bon chance.
Anything you
Why-
want to drop?
What the hell? You know French? What the hell's going on over here?
Anything you want to talk about before we sign off?
Yeah. Anything you want to plug or anything?
Now I'm just flowing.
Happy
Yeah.
to be here.
Yeah, just very happy, grateful to be here. I really appreciate you guys having me here.
Hell yeah!
Thanks for coming.
I'm stoked.
Yeah, man.
I was stoked to do this interview because like you're a very unique artist, and I want people to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you. I really
wanna see,
appreciate
like,
that.
People to
That
see
means
the
a lot.
difference between you and like other type of people that you might be compared to. You know.
Yeah.
hmm
But
I mean, I'm at a point where I'm trying to understand myself. I've been in this almost 15, I think,
Yeah.
years, like since 2008 or so.
Wow.
And
I'm sure you're always changing. You know.
yeah, exactly. And only now have I started to take myself more serious as a brand.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
well,
I
it's
already
cool. You have like a creative vehicle to figure that stuff out.
exactly. I've
Yeah.
worked on the creative expression part first because I figured that's the hardest one because from the people around me, they've always struggled with that first.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just start with what's harder to work on. And then eventually I'll work on the more technical stuff and like, what is my target audience? What brand am I? Who are my competitors in
The
the same
business
field?
things.
I feel like if you
Let
think
me
of that,
bury this nitrous
Let me
tank.
put the suit
if
on.
you think of that stuff, then you're
bury
like,
this tank.
your music kind of like I don't know. It's just gonna have it. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you don't think it like your approach is very different. You don't really like. You're not like, oh, I need it to sound like this and sound like that.
Yeah.
You're just
Right.
like,
It's a
Right.
craft.
Whenever people ask me when DJing, like, do you play for the crowd? I'm like, I never thought about that.
No, this is
Damn,
for
that's
me.
a great question.
That's what I think the difference between like people who like use Ableton or people who like do see DJs.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's like most of the people who are using Ableton, they're playing for themselves. It's kind of like
right. Okay. Yep.
That's what I think,
sense.
honestly. For me, like
No, that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever I DJ'd, I used to DJ a lot like random parties in New York City, and I would never play the music I liked because I knew I had to just
Please
shut
the
up and
people.
play what they wanted to play.
Actually, that reminded me of something. One last thing.
Yeah.
Funny story. Another one of those Madonna ones, right? She brought me to this other private party, right? And tells me, do your set. Play what you play. I love what you play.
And then?
Cool. I do my thing, play my thing.
You're getting requests.
This really tall, slender black woman comes up on stage, right? She comes in shoulder checking me. And I'm like, I can't
Naomi
see her
Campbell.
because she's, right? And she's in my face.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't know who it is because it's all blurry and I'm a little drunk. And she's just like, play some Jay-Z. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm playing on Ableton. I
physically
you know, I can't. Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's no way.
Yeah. So what about Biggie? I ain't got no Biggie. What do you mean you got no Biggie? Oh, yeah, play some house. I'm like, all right, play my version of it. And she's like, is this even house? I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, subjective.
It's got four walls and a
It's
roof.
kind of annoying. I mean, obviously, you know, like when people ask for a request, it's kind of annoying. But like, it's just weird to assume that like you're gonna have that song on your laptop.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
where do you want me to get it from? Spotify?
Oh,
Like this ain't Spotify.
And she was all up in my ear being like, you know what? You're a really shitty DJ.
Oh my
I could do it better
God.
than you.
I've been in a
and
lot
you
of
were right.
situations
It was
like
Naomi
that.
Campbell.
Are you fucking kidding? It was fucking Naomi. Yo, I'm sorry. I actually, that's insane. As soon as I said
Funny as
Naomi
fuck.
Campbell, I felt bad about it. I was like, man, that's mean of me. Can't be that mean. And
She was ready to beat me up. She would beat me up though.
I mean, you said
I wouldn't win against her.
you said
Straight
tall,
up.
slender black woman shoulder checked you without even knowing you, and I was like, sounds a little Naomi Campbell-ish. That's so crazy.
I'm more honored that I got shoulder checked by her. You know, like I don't blame her, man. Like
yeah, I don't watch that.
the way I treat it is like I came in hot with a different language,
Yeah.
and I'm not speaking their language,
Yeah.
and of course they'll be offended because I'm not even trying to speak.
to
You
please
can't tell her
crowd.
Ableton. She's not
Yeah.
gonna know what that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah, so it's like I get it.
Yeah.
If I was in her shoes, I would shoulder check the shit out of that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's all good.
Where's
like,
the biggie?
Yeah. No hate to
no hate. Very understandable.
shout out.
Amazing. I'm so glad you said
In
that.
fact.
Oh, well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming. And I'm glad you made time to tell that story because that's really
Yeah, you
fun.
reminded me about that with the Ableton thing.
All right.
All righty.
See you guys later.
Bye.
You're lost, you can look